Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers. And looking at my hand, there's this weird word. It says series that I have on my hands currently. But
already?
yeah. Already. We're
Already.
No, I don't actually have it written on since you know. But getting into this game, I mean, it felt like, for lack of a better word, a draft if Kelsey. I mean, every lane was pretty much winning for TLC.
I think compositionally, FlyQuest Challengers Draft actually worked pretty well until the Ziggs came through. I think the Ziggs threw a huge wrench into it. They were playing a really solid anti-dive draft, and then the Ziggs came through, and Ziggs is not a dive champion. So, like, you can't really hold the line and wait for the all-in when you're playing versus Ziggs. But more importantly, one thing I think they didn't quite calculate is they ended up with 3 losing lanes. So that gave TLC a pretty massive window, and we saw them take advantage to secure like a lot of early objectives in a very timely fashion.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at that in this clip, as this was around where grubs were taken. And I mean, the top side, it felt like FLYC was maybe setting up to contest this, but with the Renekton and the Ziggs being ahead, that really wasn't ever a look, Kelsey. And the big thing was that the redeploy, I should say, from the FLYC bot lane, it never led to a dragon, and that really started to set things behind in their boat.
Yeah, I mean, they could have maybe looked for something here, with the indicator being that Keel was on the grubs, right? We talked about the mid jungle 2v2 with the Xin Zhao and the Annie. We talked about maybe Dragon being in play if we could use the Annie ult, but it ended up not working out for them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the interesting thing to me about this is the early game. It was just TLC controlling all the neutrals the way they exactly wanted to. I mean, it was 6 grubs. We got the Grubageddon. We got attempts at the Dragon Soul. I mean, credit to Shaden for getting the steals on the Baron and the Elder, but it was at desperation times when FlyQuest really couldn't do anything with it other than just lose.
It's something
Shaden's
where
a big fan of Smiderino, you know.
Yeah,
I'll let Cubby make an actual point.
the Callista Smiderino. I mean, it was pretty big for Shaden, who managed to find 2 steals, but didn't end up coming up at the end. I do want to move on as Fearless Draft. Guys, this is the first best of 5 Fearless Draft that we have. So we are still in familiar territory here, Kelsey. But a couple champs are now totally off the table for both teams in the Renekton, the Gragas, and the Nautilus. And as we get further and further, we're guaranteed at least 4 games in this series. Things are going to get interesting, more interesting as we go for sure.
Yeah, you have the signature sort of bot lane carry picks also off for Sijed, right? So we'll see if they actually just completely warp the FlyQuest game plan in general without those picks available, because they're not going to necessarily go for strong top into scaling bot, right? And then of course for TLC, you don't have the guaranteed dragon stacker that is Callista. Varus has been banned pretty consistently. You might have to open that up if you feel like you're hurting for bot lane picks as the series goes on as well.
Yeah, I will say though, I don't think you want to give Spawn Varus, and I'm curious that FlyC, even after dropping that game, they're still taking red side. Now, I will say, Talia is now left open because Callista's off the table for TLC. They took away Talia in that slot last game, which we assumed they were going to first pick Callista. They did. There's no more Callista option, but TLC, they already grabbed Talia. They are now leaving Talia open for this next game, Kelsey, and that is something I fully expect FlyC to lock in the first round of the draft.
Oh yeah, you don't need to pick it into Callista. That champ's just in general overpowered. It's good into mobiles, it's good into champions with dashes. It's definitely going to be something FlyQuest will want to get their hands on now that it's available, and TLC can't pick it either. So.
And that's always going to be the fun part about Fearless, is once one side does pick a pick, you don't really need to ban it. And that will allow a different sort of mind games when it does come to the draft. But first pick, as you had mentioned, Cubby, is going to be the Ashe.
I will say, Talia, for me, gets even more interesting now, Kelsey, because, like, Talia, you are somewhat of a, pick champion when you have your ult up. Just the ability to, cast the Weaver's Wall and really pressure. I think this gets even more appealing now on the FlyC side for Quad to go with Talia, who, again, looking at draft, is one of the higher tier mid laners that is very much still available.
Also interesting to see them open the Ashe. If I'm correct, it was the most banned champ in ACL during regular season was the Ashe in general. So if you're opening it, you for sure have an answer, and it looks like they're just gonna go for the Zyra Khan.
They didn't line up the portraits,
definitely
Kelsey.
Huge comfort, but no Zaya first.
Yeah.
Not Cubby seal of approval.
No, you got to line up the
problem.
portraits. It's a bummer, you know.
But
Does
if
that
you're
throw
picking
off
this,
the synergy, Cubby?
It does. It's not a good start already. I'm favoring TLC.
But Chime's Recon has been huge. There have
Yeah.
been a lot of great Recon engages coming out from Chime, but if you're picking this, you're looking for the engage. And the Ezreal's a big thing. You want to make something happen level 1, you have to invade, because otherwise the Zyrakon will scale to a point where they're killing front lines at 3 items. Rakon's getting like good flanks off, so you need to make use of your level 1 here if you're TLC, and I expect the rest of the comp to come out accordingly.
I gotta say, too, with that Sejuani lock-in, it's really tempting to take Vi instead of Talia here. And whoa, okay, they're actually going to take Nico, so still kind of the same mindset, right? Something to really attack this bot side. Now FlyC, they get 2 bans to actually throw at Roamer. I'm expecting to see Jace taken away for sure here. And I'm curious what else.
I really like this so far for the FlyQuest 5v5 going forward, especially because Chime, I mean, we talked about the Recon already, but he has been the more veteran voice on this squad, and when FlyQuest is able to come together with something that is very team fighty like this, both the Recon and the Nico, to set up these flanks and get these 5v5s going, it usually does bode very, very well for FlyQuest.
They're taking the Akali off the table, which is something that will just kind of sustain with shields, and then of course it's melee for the Sejuani synergy, so that has to be the logic there. But I think in general, if you're TLC, you see Xayah on the enemy team, you want long range, because that's the one thing that Xayah has a hard time against. I mean, you already have the Ezreal, you already have the Ashe, so compositionally it just makes more sense for that to come out, especially since you already have so much good engage. You want like more sources of long range damage, and the Akali, Yone don't make as much sense to me from that perspective.
Yeah, that's why I was highlighting the Jace, because you get the range, and you also get the melee synergy with Sejuani. So, and also it's one of Roamer's champs that he's really good at. Now, you would, if you wanted to do that, you'd have to find magic damage on the top side, which, of course, it's Jenkins. He has that kind of stuff in his pool. And I'd be amiss to not bring up Warwick as well, given the Sejuani pairing, as that's something that Jenkins, is a specialty pick of his. He plays it really well on the top side, and that's a deadly duo with the Sej. With jungle pairings being narrowed down, we still find the knockups and the synergies with the Wukong, which is a very good pick here for FlyC. So more setup to try and attack this squishy bot side.
That's kind of what makes me excited about the fact that this will have a game 4, is just more and more fearless bans. We get to see deeper into some of these champion pools. Jenkins has a fun one, man. So the Warwick, the Cannon, other things do come to mind. But for now, TLC, they want to draft their mid lane, and they're grabbing the LeBlanc.
TLC are just keeping the more and faster philosophy going. They're just wanting to keep pressure on that bot side. Look for invades. It's typically what you see being an effective strategy on blue side, just because you do have so much open side of the map, right? For the blue buff, it's easy to go in. So they're just keeping that philosophy. They're keeping the pressure on mid. They're going for LeBlanc. So
Olaf is just turbo this game, no? Like, what kills Olaf? Nothing kills Olaf in this game. This is a good pick. Yeah, this is a really good pick for FlyC.
Oh, let's go.
This was a fun draft, of course, with Fearless coming in. We get to see some champ pools narrowed down, but I think overall, like, this is a comp where you can leave Olaf isolated on that top side, and he does a lot of work. And I'm wondering how much Keel almost sacrifices with trying to support this bot lane that's going to be very volatile with the Ezreal and the Ashe, Kelsey, who maybe attack Olaf pre-6, because if Olaf gets to 6 for free, he can do a lot of damage this game.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know if it's necessarily going to be high value for you to even try to attack the Olaf pre-6. I mean, he's just going to be able to farm, push out the wave, have a good time. So you have to play almost like the bot lane arms escalation sort of trade sides games, right? Where you're just trying to snowball your bot lane as much as possible with the Ezreal Ashe, with the lane prio into control on that side. It is unfortunate because obviously Sejuani wants to play towards the melee champ, but I just think it's going to be way more comfortable for him to look for bot side plays in general.
I'm just going to say the 5v5 goes hard on FlyQuest. It's not just the Olaf, but man, get caught out in some of these 5v5 corridors. It's going to be hell for TLC. Well, Twitch chat, you know the deal. Who got this one? Go ahead and type who you want to take this. We are now headed into game 3. We're guaranteed some of those championship rounds at game 4 as both teams have gone 1-1 apiece in this best of 5.
Surdy is going to hopefully spot out the Sejuani here as TLC really trying to play with vision. Maybe support Jenkins on this top side. Curious, though, to see that, because usually double range bot, you'd expect a full man invade bot side Kelsey to get brush control, but maybe already see Olaf potentially warping this game. And again, LeBlanc and Ezreal can run away from Olaf, but you can't kill Olaf. So it's really going to be about removing the other pieces for TLC later in this game.
With the Zyricon, though, your level 1 isn't too weak. You can get a little bit of cheese off, right, with the W, and then just eliminate either one of Spawn or Kim down if you can get past, like, the range advantage, right? So they are looking for a little bit of that in exchange. So it's possible that they're using their level 1, get a strong advantage for Jenkins, and then deal with bot lane in the wave.
Nice watch keep block there from Roamer. As each of our junglers starting on the Raptors, another mirrored start this game, with the potential for Sejuani again to do the fast 3-camp bop on Deserex.
I'm going to be watching this top side quite a bit because you guys have hyped up this Olaf so much, and yeah, I definitely see it. I mean, like, what's going to happen as this game goes on, right? Roamer puts on a chain. Olaf says, I break the leash and run at your face. You throw an arrow at him. I say, break the ice, run at your face. It's going to be a lot of hype. Definitely sets up some of the stakes that we had, considering how much TLC want to deal with this top side. But as we do take a look at the map, so far the waves pushing in favor of TLC over in this bottom one, as Sajed and Chime get isolated from the wave.
They will eventually be able to farm that a bit. Ooh, nice trade on the mid.
Still able to find the tether in.
Yep. They are able to farm that a little bit. I think maybe your one saving grace against the Olaf is potentially a snowballed LeBlanc. You do quite a bit of burst damage, and usually the counter to the Olaf is he pops the ult, loses a lot of resistances, and if you can get on top of him and one-shot him for free, then that's maybe the angle to take him down. But otherwise, you know, like the team fight, the 5v5 seems very press RRs, run at them, win simple execution. So as long as they can get to that phase, it's a good position for FlyC.
And I gotta say, I can understand why Shaden's been pathing towards this bot side to almost protect his bot lane from dives the last 2 games, but it has led to each of his blue buffs being removed on the first spawn, which I like from TLC. They're doing stuff with their prio.
Been really good with them, just as you said, focusing on their prio, getting that Ashe and Ezreal out into the jungle. They did it in game number 2, doing it again in game number 3. Does put some pressure onto Shaden that he's going to have to reply to.
And it's usually just the one rotation, right, where you're guaranteed to lose your blue. Your bot lane,
yeah, able to get the root in with the blade collar. Flash comes out from kill, and first blood, Kim down. Flash is in to guarantee it.
I was about to say, you know, your bot lane's usually pretty fine as soon as they're able to push back a bit, but...
Ooh.
That was a little scary close. Flash forward coming out from Chime, wants to take down Kim down. Flash follow through by Shaden. Red buff is ticking and burning away. Is it enough to tick the health bar? No! Spawn almost drops. And now the return of fire coming out from Kim down, who's starting to feel himself right now, but can't get the chase through. The minion wave is too big.
This is a scrim game, game 3. This is what the double range bot can do if the engages aren't clean, and props to Kim down. I mean, we've really talked about the improvement of this player in terms of how well he plays the map, but him being able to show off some of the hands in this game as the Ashes, he's made a huge difference in the first couple skirmishes. Now Shaden's going to face check Keel.
Oh, Shaden has to hop away, but gets caught out. There is no flash. There might be no chance. With the bot lane able to provide some protection, Shaden survives by the skin of his teeth.
I mean, HP is a resource. Deathrex, just like everything else. And we're definitely getting the most out of the HP bars in this game. Great spacing from Kindown, as you highlighted. Shaden playing on the edge, face checking with the Wukong clone, and I mean, we don't get a lot of kills, but it definitely feels like like we should have gotten at least 3 there.
Yeah, this feels like a very bloody game, but we only got 1 kill to regard to the bottom lane. I want to bring it back up to the bot lane focus being with Kim down, because I definitely do appreciate what you're saying earlier, Tubby, how much he has improved on the season. And I know one of the places he's been working to improve is his communication and just playing as a teammate as a whole. And from his own words, he's felt very, very happy with the way things have shaped up throughout the season.
I mean, it's something where we're giving away a most improved player, for this split. If I had to give one away last split in summer, it would have been Kim down for me. He really stepped up with TLC, especially in summer, as at the moment. Level 6 just got hit by Surdy.
All out, Surdy using the Ragnarok to try and face this 2v1. Gonna be a tough one if he wants to fight it out. Flash is onto Jenkins, but Jenkins is all right to take that on the chin. You still have some support from Shaden coming from down below, but TLC don't want to pursue.
I love that from Surdy. There was an undertow that got a minion to get him 6. So Surdy just barely able to make sure that he was able to get that Ragnarok and survive the Ragnarok that TLC was throwing at him. And while that was going on, Shaden was able to clean up the 3 grubs.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have so much pressure in your top lane, able to 1v2 and not go down for it, that's when you really see things opened up for you. And that's usually what we see out of TLC, right? We usually see Jenkins like pulling pressure, pulling jungle, pulling support to his lane and absorbing that pressure. So seeing Surdy get one back with a really smart use of his level 6 power spike, and then Shaden getting the grubs for free is a great rebalance of the power and expectations.
As something that was much needed for FlyC on this map, and also showing some of the power of why in draft we were both looking at the Olaf being like, this is going to be a problem, right? This is something that TLC, like Sejuani, Cassante, they just don't have the champions to really handle this unless they walk backwards. So even seeing Surdy flash in to continue the fight there, that's some of what we're going to expect as this game moves forward with this Olaf that is going to be a big problem.
Nice use of the fog right there from our observers. Kim down trying to spot out where Shaden is, and they do have vision as they pinged him right now. Shaden still going to put his presence over on that side of the map. As a lot of these solo laners are just duking it out back and forth. Roamer getting the tether onto Quad. It's just going to continue that way throughout most of this.
The big thing also to consider is that because Shaden did get that first round of grubs, like the expectation is that he'll ding 6 relatively early. Yeah. And then maybe that's an angle for them to contest a dragon when they otherwise wouldn't. I do kind of expect them to sort of give that here, though, and then maybe look for more plays around top side because Surdy is so strong at this point.
I will say, it looks like Shaden's going for that early stride breaker. I do like this quite a bit on Wukong, but looking at the top side, I'm almost surprised that he didn't rush Black Cleaver for the utility, as that would really increase the damage for the Xayah and the Olaf in fights. I expect that to be second, but that is something that will at least weaken him a little bit in team fights. And Surdy.
Look at you, Surdy getting very critically low. My fault to the 1v1. No! Surdy puts his money where his mouth is and takes down Jenkins.
I mean, that looked pretty good. The all-out was really nice, but Surdy basically getting the ult off. I don't know if a cookie was used there or something, but keeping the sustain, keeping the matching the level 6 and getting the return kill on the edge. You love to see it. I called him most valuable prospect at the start of the broadcast. He has to show off here to earn the title.
I mean, I wasn't asked because I'm not as cool as Kelsey, but he was also my vote, and he barely was able to survive that. The Bramble Vest trying to cut the healing as much as possible from Jenkins, but wasn't the case. And now, looking at that lane, Kelsey, that top lane is over. Olaf wins now for the rest of the game. It's going to be really tough.
I'm just going to say, that's the type of top lane I like. Yeah, I'm going to do a quote right now. Your 30-minute classics? Nah. 5-star matches? Nah. You know what I want to see? Big, meaty men slapping me. And that's what we got over there in the top lane.
It wasn't even Butcher Olaf for that, Deathrex, but I appreciate you forcing it. Anyway, Dragon going to be slain potentially as Keel will at least boop his way over. Each jungler does have access to 6.
Yeah, Keel full health bar. Roamer over on the side. Kim Down's getting called over. Doesn't have level 6 yet, so doesn't have the arrow. It gets secured over to FlyQuest, and TLC, empty-handed. Kill just chilling out. Dragon's no longer there. Got evicted. I guess he owns the Dragon Pit now.
Shaden, some of these smites been really big for him, and high line re-engage. Shaden, he's got ult.
Yeah,
no
kill.
Ult. Hold on. Get flash, no ult.
Real careful on that one, just bails.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit over the skates there. Keel, get that one calculated. Just trying to delay bases to help his bot lane, which will at least pick up a point here for Spawn and Kim Down.
And we get a little overzealous because the game itself has been pretty on the edge, action at every turn. But I do think one thing I want to highlight for FlyC, we called out their inability to take these small windows where they have advantage, their bot lane's on recall first to get small objectives. So at least they're doing that here, even if bot lane is still kind of on a struggle street matchup.
Yeah. I don't know if it was worth it or not. That's something we'll have to figure out as this game goes on, because this Xayah is really far behind. And for the lead that Surdy has in the top side, it's just going to have to be really more of him stepping up. Because also this matchup mid, I know we haven't really talked about mid as much, but LeBlanc, as this matchup goes on, does have the advantage. Just the ability to play with those distortions and really mess with Nico. So at the moment, TLC will use some of the power they have in mid lane. Quad was forced back to open up the grubs. It will be no contest for Shaden. So matching the grubs 3-3.
No Grubageddon.
Yeah, no Grubageddon for either team this game, which, considering how definitively we called top lane over, maybe a bit of a shame on the FlyC side, but definitely still, like as Cubby was saying, LeBlanc having an advantage on mid, them being able to find those things is still giving them a lot of cryo in these lanes.
Oh no, Surdy has to turn this one around or else get rooted. Has to use the Ragnarok. Ooh, gets caught without it, and Kill will body him in the top side.
Great play from TL.
Yeah, that was really well managed from TL. Again, this lane's over in isolation, but with friends, it's okay. And Shaden's going to sneak in here to at least get the wave for himself. It does feel good in the Wukong, who scales really hard with farm. So I think Shaden, honestly, at the point of the game he's at, it's okay for him. And for FlyC, I think, honestly, at this point, Kelsey, like, funneling the Olaf Wukong, I think, is the winning scenario for me. Like, this Xayah, it's going to be a really tough game for Xayah, just given all the range in the poke that TLC is packing. So I think you have to make sure that your front line's big enough as FlyC where you can really eat that.
Yeah, I mean, Rakan is the carry in the bot lane. He's always going to find some good engage angles, right? But it's that when we talk about this bot lane, perhaps FlyC isn't too concerned that Ezreal is getting a lead, because you get the Wukong combo, you have Olaf coming in, and it's very difficult for Spawn to have space to attack, right? It's very difficult for Kim Down to create space with W, with ulti, with these types of things. So your win con is definitely Wukong Olaf, right? Definitely not the Xayah right now. It obviously would be great to have a Xayah, but it might not pan out this game.
No, you have the Xayah there for the R button. It's the most important thing. Bait him out, let him run towards your face, and then you just press R. Everyone else takes care of the business for you. Shaden and Surdy not afraid. Yeah. Get down to monkey business over here. As minute 20 left until the dragon does spawn, and you can see Shaden paying attention to his bottom lane right now. Kill is over by the Scuttle Crab, as Chime will get some vision over in that direction.
I do want to highlight, it's going to be double stride breaker on the top side, which like, it's good on both champs, but that really is an emphasis on just chasing and running people down. So this is something where Kim Down is really going to, kind of hate his life if he's grooved up on the Ashen in the wrong position, because you got Olaf and Wukong jumping on you with double stride breaker. That's a pretty impossible game to play as support Ashe.
He might get this for the turn here. Oh, they're just going to let him have it.
He at least burns the smite before Dragon spawns. I think Shaden will have another charge up for the Drake, but you can see the bot cryo continuing for TLC. Plates have fallen off the map, but TLC very much threatening this to be the first brick of the game.
Yeah, it should be easy first turret for TLC, though if they want the Dragon, they might want to recall before securing it. We'll kind of see what the determination is on that one.
30 trying to be cheeky right there in the brush, but There's a ward there that will spot him out. Taking a look at the state of the game, we're finally going to get that first brick getting taken down. Spawn and Kim down in the bot lane will be the recipients of it as they continue to put a stranglehold onto this bot lane of FlyQuest.
Well, they are getting dragon, which is interesting because, I mean, they're just going to take the tower and the dragon and not bother with rotating for Rift Herald. I think a lot of times if you look at Rift Herald usage globally, it hasn't been the highest, and usually it's because you're picking up the Rift Herald post 14 minutes, so it's very easy to just pressure one lane, get a turret, and then Rift Herald feels like you've invested all of this tempo and all this control just for the Rift Herald take. So I do like the choice from TL, and I think they're in a better position now to make another play and have another turn coming out on the map ahead of FlyQuest.
Yeah, let's be honest, Herald kind of sucks this split. And also, I mean, if you are TLC, they killed a wave bot. That quad's just picking up now.
Yep.
So like that's one where if I was FlyC in that scenario, I actually would probably try to get someone back there a little bit sooner. And because they answered with quads when the rotation's coming out, I think the lane setup that we have right now for TLC is okay, because LeBlanc is strong enough where she's at the point you can try and look to bleed a Ragnarok out of Surdy, and that's when you can really start to open up and make plays on the Olaf.
I do like that they're matching the LeBlanc into the Olaf. I think that that's a very good option for them. Definitely intelligent lane assignments here, and I mean Jenkins can take some of the brute force from the Nico at this point. He only has a rocket belt coming out, so.
Speaking of,
better
count your minions. Yeah, better count your minions. How many are there? Why do I see 4 melee minions? Spawn, attack that one, and quad. We'll take a few mystic shots, so no shenanigans just yet, Cubby.
He was doing a nice job of blending in, I will say. You know, that was a good spacing between the minions. These are the mechanics that, you know, these guys got to practice. How sussy can you look, you know?
The Spawn's Ezreal senses were tingling, landing the Q on the face.
I didn't know we had Josh here, man. 2 Joshes apparently.
Oh no.
Kelsey brings the worst out of me, you know.
Or the best, depending on the lens we frame
yeah, it
this
depends
at.
on. Crazy, but obviously Ezreal still has a lot of value because you can basically clear mid wave from 2 screens away.
Yep.
Permitting mid prio for your LeBlanc basically to try to push out the side wave, give your team tempo advantage and control those neutrals, look for those picks, especially with the Ash Arrow to control vision on either side. If you see a Wukong on one side, maybe you run into the opposite side and try to collapse on the enemy side lane. So a lot of options for TLC to play out from here, given their bot lane advantage.
See Monkey fight away from Monkey? Is that the game plan right there, Kelsey?
If you wanna be literal, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real plan, like what I kind of want to start to see from TLC is I want to see Kim Down really start to fish with some of these ECAs.
Yeah.
Like just see what you can get out when you throw some of these arrows out. We haven't really seen Kim Down start fishing yet, and I think it's going to be really valuable if you can get a Xayah ult at this point before 11. That cooldown's so long, outside of just like even a cleanse. I think it's time that we start to see TLC really start to play out this pick comp that they're trying to do, because for TLC it's all about range and keeping that range. Because if you're not careful and you get double stride breakered by this Olaf plus Wukong, then yeah, it is a doomsday scenario.
That arrow is not just such a good pick tool. It comes on a low cooldown the longer this game's going to go out. I mean, we only have it at the first level, but it won't be too long before Kim Down actually gets that level 2 enchanted crystal arrow, and that's when the pick power of TLC comes through.
I have seen a lot of Ashes go for Bloodsong. Actually, I forget which item, sport item this one is, but it's the poke one where you take some max HP. I like this much better this game. Yeah. Because, like, yeah, you are kind of playing for picks, but Bloodsong is like, you get too close in range to even proc it against Wukong Olaf. I think that playing around these Ws is much better for Kim Down, and I like this choice from him.
Alright. See if we do get the base off. Jenkins doesn't find Surdy in that lower brush. TLC walking in deep to control vision around LeBlanc, kind of like we mentioned before, so...
This is a lot of the setups they've been going for, just trying to catch out top lane. Beautiful. This time it's Quad by himself, and the chain of CC is pristine. It is beautiful. It is a dead mid lane for FlyQuest.
The only thing the FlyQuest can maybe get out of this is a couple wards onto Baron, onto Dragon, but TLC crucially getting that pick at a timing where they can easily just rotate and fight the dragon with a man up, contest vision with a man up, because Quad's not going to spawn until like just before that dragon comes up.
I want to see Shaden
in time.
Shaden should take the red buff. It's about to be past 20. Your entire team gets red buff. I think it's a really big deny if he's able to get this away. I'm starting to track, you know, like, if you're able to take these big buffs away past 20, I think it's really important. It gives your team a lot of power, and Shaden being able to sneak in here, this is actually something significant that could even prevent TLC from fishing around this dragon, as we have a potential look on the Jenkins, but that's a Cassante.
Yeah.
And he's got his buttons up, so just going to be a Herald drop.
A Herald drop at Drake spawn. Also, Quad shows top, but he does have TP, so they still have that option available. TLC not taking the Drake on spawn, so might be a fight here coming up.
I don't know if FlyC even wants this. This is a really good setup for TLC. They're going to be all in the river with all their cooldowns up, and there's not a flash down that FlyC can look to punish, as we have Surdy wrapping around for info.
Shaden's already getting cut out by Romer, so chunked out before the fight even begins.
Yeah.
TLC is playing this out so well, Kelsey.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like the controller we talked about, they came what looked like late, but because they extended for the red buff control, they didn't get good vision down for FlyC, so TLC just took advantage of the gap in the river.
Like, even dropping this, I feel like that was the right call from TLC. And yes, they sacked the dragon, but FlyC can't get anything else off this. They're just forced to play defense. They don't have the health bars to really find a clean engage. And now, like, TLC, they're kind of going to force FlyC to, you know, have separate bases because they need to go back, but also they can't send everyone else back because it could be an insta-baron. So, even though TLC dropped that dragon, I feel like they played out that series in a way that is very showing their understanding they have of the composition of the strengths that they have, which I like a lot from them.
And their investment stonks have been working so well so far. I mean, 3.6k in the lead currently. I would like to take a look at the gold individually, if we can get that up right now to see how the lanes are doing. And yeah, you look at Romer, goodness gracious, same thing with Spawn. There's so many gold leads that have been picked up by TLC throughout this early game.
And they are just running FlyQuest around the map, using their prio lanes yet again. Rotating to side. Anytime there is a gap in FlyQuest vision because they've overextended for a neutral, they weave in between it. They take towers. They stay in open areas so that FlyC can't get the flanks off with their Wukong and their Rakan. So just in general, staying on top of it, staying between lanes, carrying out the lead that they got before.
It's kind of funny, Kelsey, because like last game I was like, you know, Romer's almost taking inspiration from APA with the Ziggs. In this game, I can't help but think back to all the 3-lane LeBlanc games we saw from Harry and that TLA that did so well in our league.
Yeah.
And I mean, this really is the Romer game, because that is the one lane that they can play off of where he's strong. So again, Romer becomes the focus of this game in the back half.
He's just summoning the spirits of TLC mid laners past.
Yeah.
Hey, it's working out so far. Currently 1-0-1 as TLC are fighting over control of this Baron pit. All the meanwhile, they do have Jenkins in side lane. Chime's still going to look for an engage, gets the knockup on the kill. Romer's able to bail out. The isolation is towards kill, but he will get an Arctic Assault that brings them back to his team. In FlyQuest, they don't get the engage they wanted.
I gotta say, Keel's build this game, he's going Battle Pig. It is a Sunfire Cape in the Jack Show. There's none of this Knight's Vow, none of this Frozen Heart. He's really tanky on the stats that he has on his own, and that engage from Chime, while I can see the inspiration, it split up Spawn and Kim down away from the tanks. I like that Shaden looked for that instead, but TLC is still paying respects, and they are showing a really good understanding of their composition.
And also, it's great to see this clean evolution from TLC. We saw the great early games coming out from them in the regular season, but we didn't necessarily see them like keep composure, keep discipline, and keep the rotations crisp around the map. We saw them kind of devolving a bit into some of the yakety sacks, but this is definitely a huge step up, even from their series against DSG.
Just for you, Cubby. Just for you, of course. Our observer Kai showing off the hands.
No.
Perfect time.
Everyone sends some feet pics to Cubby's DMs.
Yeah, please.
Oh, no.
Straight to Cubby's DMs. Everyone, go on Twitter. Send it right now. This is what happens when we have a 3-1 game, man.
No, this is what happens when you spend 3 years being a stick in the mud and then you make one out-of-pocket comment. No one forgets, you know?
Yeah, tell me more, Cubby. Tell the audience, you know, I think we might be out of the loop.
I hope Shaden can throw me and everyone else in a spin cycle here really soon, because I feel like that's what we're waiting on.
We're waiting on the flank, right? Which is great because you have the Ash arrow, or not arrow, excuse me, the Hawk shot to scout out any flank opportunities. So when you have a shorter range comp looking for these types of angles, I know Joshi, for example, likes to say that FlyQuest, they're best in straightforward front to backs, but have struggled with flanks.
Shaden gets hit by the ultimate, so pretty big ult down for TLC, but they still have control of this map.
I do want to highlight, I think Cloud Drake's a really good pull for each team this game. I actually think stacking the clouds is going to be really important because a lot of this game is about range and how much you can manipulate it, whether that's FlyC closing the gap. And I mean, I think the double stride breakers are really a big sign of that, or also just TLC creating space, right? And making sure that you aren't taking the straight up 5v5s with the Olaf and the Wukong. You have to kite this comp out. So I think this dragon, I want to say the dragon's come a little bit more important. And I really feel like stacking up these clouds can matter. You know, getting that bonus move speed could really make a difference later on.
And with the way the map's been played, as Roamer tries to find himself a monkey in the jungle, I mean, this is a good time for Kimdown to start to shine with some of those enchanted crystal arrows. We haven't seen the most flush ones land yet. As long as TLC find a early lead into the dragon, this is an angle that FlyQuest will have a lot of trouble taking in.
They're just not in time for this one. I think this could be time for, patent FlyQuest trade for Baron, but...
The FlyQuest are going in. They want to fight. They're able to steal away the dragon. It goes to FlyQuest. Now Kill on the wrong side of the wall will have to abandon Jenkins as the Featherstorm comes out, waiting for the Blade Caller. It's not a good angle for TLC to continue. Surdy still bringing down the axes. Roamer hums in, and he's able to get the double distortion. We'll find 2 kills off of it. Sawjet falls, and TLC, they got robbed of a dragon while they're going to bring some crime and punishment to FlyQuest.
This was the Roamer game, setting this one up. He had to be the difference maker to really match both of the solo lanes from FlyC, and Roamer stepped up huge in that fight. To flash early to set up the distortions later on is why TLC got this big advantage, Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, you're looking at what looks to be a good victory from FlyC here. They commit, they get the combo off. The nice Nico knockups. The Jed with a great ult here, but now all the cooldowns are gone. Everyone has low HP.
Wow.
Here comes Roamer finding them against the wall with the W. And then, of course, they have to run out. And there's no way that they can do anything to contest the Baron when TLC look for the next objective.
The flash double distortion was just awesome from Roamer there, and now he's level 16. And I think some people kind of forget LeBlanc really scales hard into the back half of the game. When you get access to level 16 and that very low cooldown ultimate, it's really hard for Xayah to play out this portion of the game. We see Sajad picking up that Vamp Scepter to try and sustain through some of this poke, but TLC now with the Baron, they have the potential to knock down the rest of the inners.
Just want to say so much respect over to Roamer, who had less than half HP when he went for that play. Watching the cooldown timers very, very carefully. It was a calculated attack, and it gives TLC, even with the Dragon loss, a burst of momentum, which they're going to display over here in the top side as they start a 4-man siege.
I mean, we did say this is the one answer that they have to the Olaf, right? Is LeBlanc gets fed enough that if he pops the Ragnarok, he's squishy and he dies instantly, right? So definitely playing off of that potential win con and then almost just keeping control of the map so that FlyC can't even find fights for that's even in question.
I like the fact you ended with FlyC finding fights, because the one perk for FlyC off the bat. Oh, hold on, pause.
TLC are looking to find fights right now as they throw the ultimate onto Surdy. Surdy continues going forward. Here comes Shaden. Will get the Cyclone. Heal will be the first one to fall. Spawn doesn't have too much protection to work with here, but he's got all the damage in the world when he has Roamer in the back pocket, who will slay the monkey.
You had Sajad going up in the air early to dodge out on the chain, and that ends up having Shaden fall. Quad.
Oh, Quad, looking for some vengeance on the Roamer. The auto is found and shut down for Quad.
Wow, Quad with the presence of 9, knowing that so many cooldowns are down. They might be looking in the jungle just to clear out vision, looking for those plays. But you are still, as FlyC, having to have these hero moments. That's the thing, right? You're finding these hero moments to come back in. Oh?
Okay, Cleanse comes out really fast. Is it fast enough to defend Sanjay? Jenkins just puts his face in the damn dirt, man. Now going forward, Jenkins all out and all in as Quad is decimated and TLC are running away with this game.
Big TP from Jenkins. The Baron push continues. What I was going to say before this whole series of events, the big perk for FlyC with that last dragon is that they blew flashes. That's what you need to do against a comp that has this much range when you're playing the Wukong. We saw them take the fight, but now the back and forth, each team overextending on the exit from the fight as everyone's able to punish. And the gold for me, I know that Roamer fell. A big shutdown went over the quad, but still Roamer's the one that's going to be the big difference maker in this as Jenkins... I mean, he knows that Sajed has no flash, no ult. The cleanse is burned by a great ECA from downtown from Kim Down. And that Saya just ripped to shreds.
And this is what happens when you're on the back foot as much as FlyC, right? You're just wanting to convert the pick on Roamer, on the raid boss, if you will, into a big tower take, but you're not clearing out the vision in the jungle that you kind of had to overcome to get in the pick in the first place. So that opens up the TP flank. That opens up situations where once TLC get back out on the map, their waves are still pushing to you, right? They're still having control of the map here.
And it opens up this situation where the fog of war is hell for you now because you don't know if Roamer's there, and he's happy to keep poking out. He's happy to keep peeking out and chipping away at FlyQuest.
Love that you bring that up. It's forced FlyC to play through bot. They've seeded the mid wave to TLC. Now, flashes are back up even for TLC. The only one that's down is Roamer. That's coming up very soon. I think it's a really tough fight for FlyC to take. It is Cloud Soul for them, which, again, is very significant. So I know they're down in this game, but if I'm FlyC, I'm still tempted to flip it. Now they've caught Jenkins a little bit.
Yeah, right onto Jenkins.
But
over the wall, Jenkins will pull them right through. Chime has to flash back out, and now we're inside the pit. Already finding one pick onto Kim Down. Shaden runs low. Sajed corralled into the pit along with the rest of FlyQuest. They can't pick up the kill, but here comes Roamer with the distortions as 30 still has hell to work with, but does not have teammates. Roamer will just hop, skip, jump away, and laugh as Surdy gets destroyed.
They're going to double TP to the top side. I think that's the game yet again. FlyC, they took the fight. And, I mean, that was a crazy fight. The big difference, I think Shaden, he got in. It was a good engage. They got the dragon, but they weren't able to overextend onto Roamer. And Roamer, again, with low health, had a huge flash and double distortion to really rip FlyC out of that fight and give TLC this game.
And FlyC, you know, it's becoming a theme objective for game. They're definitely losing out on these trades, but TLC, man, I am actually really struggling to find a flaw with their play. We criticize their team fighting, but they're staying on top of these fights.
It can't end.
Yeah, game's not over yet. Now here comes retaliation for FlyQuest. They want to find Spawn. Spawn looking to hop over the wall, gets charmed in the process, and Jenkins gonna see his ADC in the respawn, and TLC lose too.
That could easily be Baron. Roamer still down and doesn't have a TP. Sajed's up. He's going to base, pick up a completed LDR. And I think Baron's just over now to FlyC is... I guess we have a recurring trend now where TLC, that's 2 games out of the 3 where they haven't been able to end either, Kelsey.
I mean, it's just the trend, right? You know, you get the low probability objective steal. You try to forfeit the game, but...
Lazy script writing, honestly, you know.
Slight miscalculations. Put FlyC back in it. Slight miscalculations. I mean, we miscalculated it too, right? We were like, game is over. Let's go. But FlyC coming back, and now at TLC, you have to deal with Surdy with Cloud Soul as a go-off. If he couldn't get on you before, he sure can now.
Wukong too, as Keel.
It's still an angle for Roamer right there. Distortion's in. I mean, FlyQuest, they got what they came for, so they're not pressed to go for a fight right now. We still got a while before we have anything to do with Elder, so this is great for FlyQuest. They don't have to feel forced onto the map by TLC's rhythm.
I mean, Rakan's base move speed now is 487. That's a lot. And again, this is a comp where, like you talked about, you have to be able to close the gaps. Here goes Chime.
Chime, he finds one out of rotation. What? Roamer's dead, and FlyQuest are fighting back.
I like this game, Kelsey. It feels to me that TLC, they've won at every point, except for actually securing the objective. FlyC, they've stolen like 3 dragons away, and I think it's gonna break the game in their favor. Like, if I'm TLC, I'm looking for back doors at this point when my TPs get back up. I don't know if you can win a full-on 5v5 against Cloudsoul.
Dude, someone pull up Skara. They're winning until they lose. What is that old quote right now? Oh, goodness, Kelsey. What were you about to say?
Oh, I mean, I also just wanted to highlight, you know, this is where we talk about Chimes or Con. We were waiting for it to come out to get the engage angle, but it did get that one situation.
Oh, my heart.
Oh, it got him in the base.
Found him in the back half.
It got him in the base. I'll take that one.
I mean, this is huge too, because like not only is there a Cloudsoul, like I've talked so much about how it enables Surdy, Shade, and Chime to close the gap, Quad, but also Sajed playing on the back half, like that move speed, and also the couple wins that we've seen from FlyC. Sajed actually has serious gold now. Like, these 3 items are going to make sure that the Xayah is actually able to DPS, which is necessary, because again, as this game goes on, TLC, they have to use their range. They have to take chunks. They have to take poke. FlyC, they want the all-in. That's what this game's going to boil down to. And it's just so much harder to poke now and control that space when you're going up against a team that has like a 40+ move speed advantage on you before they even pop ultimates.
We'll see if they can get the side waves, because if we're prepping our side waves as FlyQuest challengers, right, it's very difficult for TLC to find angles where they're poking you in your jungle. You're in those situations. FlyC able to take open fights, able to look for flanks themselves if they have side prio, and then clean up their map way.
Yeah, and right now, if we could just have our observers, if you could click on Sajed for me, because I can see Ezreal's base move speed is 380, right? So like if we find the other enemy AD who doesn't have any move speed augmentation outside of Cloudsoul, like again, like Chime was at 487. Like, that's 100 move speed advantage base on the Ezreal, and that's before you pop the quickness, before you get the Cloudsoul benefit from that as well. So, I mean, this is like really a game-changing soul that FlyC rolled, and I sincerely think that TLC is on the back foot now. I don't know how they're going to be able to end outside of Roamer finding one-shots, which is feasible for him now that he has a death cap.
Yeah, if we can, observers, we can get the gold up in just a moment, because I do want to see how things have been equalized. I mean, the big threat that we've been seeing has been Roamer and his ability to play this map, right? 6-3-4 right now, has been doing well, but those catch-outs have afforded shutdowns over back to FlyQuest, and so much of the economy is now going into their favor as they've shrunken down the lead to just 2K. Teleport coming in as they look to set up for their next play.
Looking for a Nico TP on the other side, so this could be...
Oh, Quad's
Chandle
going.
Crystal there lands.
Got Secret Agent Quad coming in, goes for the 4-star Pop Blossom! Chime's ultimate will drag them into the chaos, and it's a blender! They will be destroyed! They will be annihilated! FlyQuest take the teamfight win!
I mean, absolutely insane TP. They find the angle, they find the flank. We've said that FlyC want to take fights in open areas. They haven't been able to get the flanks off, but here it is. They turned the fight. This is our second game-ending call. And you know what? This is a $5 game. Why is it a $5 game? Because you can spend $5 right now and see one of these teams in person in the finals, and that is money well spent.
Kelsey Moser letting you know exactly how it is. One of these teams is headed to finals, and right now, FlyQuest have put their first foot forward to making that a reality.
I mean, like, if I had to boil down this series, TLC, they're down 1-2, and they've taken 5 out of the 6 Nexus turrets that have spawned in this series. Like, that is actually how ballistic this series is with how close it is, and I sincerely think that Cloudsoul roll was just so massive for FlyC, because it enables them to set up flanks like this onto TLC. As we saw Quad, he made his way around the vision off the TP. No one spotted him until it was too late. And the 4-star Pop Blossom connects him down as one shot. Spawn can't DPS the way a Xayah can in a fight like this. And FlyC, they get the team fight they wanted. It took them a long time to find it, but they finally found it, and that's all they needed to actually end the game.
Man, I heard the exclamation point as if this was like a Metal Gear game, and Quad was already deep behind enemy lines when he was able to pop that ultimate. That was absolutely disgusting, but this puts FlyQuest at game point now, Kelsey.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly what I expected, obviously. As the FLYC official shill for game points to come to FLYC
and the right arena
away.
shill as well. We got you for everything, Kelsey.
Definitely didn't say at some point, I can't find flaws in TLC's play. You know, the only flaw is that they didn't check the death timer, unfortunately. So
yeah, the only flaw was that they slightly miscalculated respawn timers, you know, and then they booked it for the Nexus too early. But apparently that is the most important flaw, because FlyC coming back out with the smites, with the dragon stacking, able to run over them with that Olaf pick and the Nico ult. Obviously, if we have to say Chime was my MVP for game 1, Quad has to be my MVP for game 2 with that flank. So, or game 3, excuse me. Game 2 happened. FlyC, TLC won. Okay, I'm not that biased. But great play from them. Absolutely excellent.
Yeah, that's kind of been the story for TLC. They're winning until they lose, but the point is they were winning at some point, and maybe they can make one of those wins a reality and take us to a game 5. We're gonna have to find out as we're throwing it over to a quick break. When we return, we'll get into game number 4, FlyQuest versus TLC.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
We're the LCS Challengers League. We're the future of the LCS.
We're Challengers League. We change our name and format every 2 years. Wonder what the next one's gonna be.
We're Challengers League. Of course we play Best of Breed and Fearless Draft.
We're Challengers League. Of course we have pauses too, but ours are fire alarms.
We're Challengers League. Who should actually wins here?
We're Challengers League. We play every single weekend, even if LCS takes it off.
We're Challengers League. Our Twitch stream has a sub button.
We're Challengers League. FlyQuest, also #1 right now.
We're Challengers League, and we're taking over the Riot Games Arena.